My name is Mark Cai, and I'm an esports and influencer partnerships associate at PowerSpike, and I found my esports job through Hitmarker. I work for PowerSpike right now, and essentially we're an influencer marketing platform that connects brands and influencers together. So when a brand wants to run an influencer marketing campaign in the gaming space, whether that be on Twitch or Mixer, we help that brand run it through, and we help connect the right influencers to the right brands. My role specifically within this pipeline is essentially finding the right influencers for these brands. So whenever we have a brand come on board, whether that be a gaming brand like a keyboard brand, or maybe a non-so gaming brand like a drink brand, my role is to kind of use my intimate knowledge of the gaming space, of the influencer space, specifically streaming, and find the correct streamers that would fit well based on their audience, based on their interests for the brand. I really enjoy gaming and esports. I think a lot of people, like a lot of other people, I come from a place of a fandom. So before I used to be a fan, and I still am a fan. I think that's what makes my job very fun, is that I get to see the effects of my work every day on people that I sometimes even look up to, right? Some of these streamers are people I've watched for a long time. So being able to actually interact with them, help them make their jobs easier, and help brands promote them to streamers that are good. I think this is just a really fulfilling part of my job. As far as the esports part of it, I just really like the competitive aspect. I've been playing games, specifically mobile games, for most of my life now, like 10 plus years. So being able to work in the space that I've really enjoyed is a super fun thing. And I think having that passion for gaming allows me to combine my academic experience of business and marketing, and that really helps me within the space. As far as what I was doing beforehand, I was actually kind of dabbling a little bit into gaming as well, but not as heavily into more like a permanent role. So right now my role is pretty full time. Beforehand, I was doing some on and off social media work, some digital marketing work, but it wasn't as solidified. And actually, funny enough, Hitmarker helped me find those jobs before as well. So Hitmarker has really led me all the way through this esports journey. And this is, a place that I've really wanted to be in my entire life. And I'm glad that I'm in here. Just continue to grow and help the industry grow as well. With Hitmarker, I actually don't remember exactly how I found it. I know for sure I was on the platform in around 2018, 2017 area. So it was kind of when the Hitmarker was getting up and new, and before they had the whole revamp of the website. And so I don't remember exactly how I got on, but I remember looking for, I think, just gaming and esports jobs on Google, and Hitmarker was one of the top ones that popped up. And the great thing about Hitmarker is the fact that you can look for anything, whether that be very much in the heart of esports, or if you want to just work in a sector that's maybe not even related to, a company that's maybe not as related to gaming, but they have some sections that are into gaming or esports. So I think that's a really cool thing about Hitmarker. And they have all types of jobs, right? So a lot of job boards, job postings are usually for like software development or business jobs. They have anything from graphic design to events to possibly even casting, things like that. So I think Hitmarker really diversifies the opportunities it gives. And the application process with PowerSpike, I think this is not as related to Hitmarker, but with PowerSpike, I applied through. Funny thing is, just like a little tip for you guys, if you want to get into the gaming industry, I highly recommend using Twitter or LinkedIn. Those are two really good social media platforms, and you can really make a name for yourself and somewhat get noticed there. And that might be a way to boost your credibility, because actually when applying to PowerSpike, I was connected with some of the folks that already work there. So that's what kind of gave me an edge ahead. Had a great interview process, went through all the questions, went through the referral process, and essentially kind of got into the company. I was lucky enough to get into the company. So great company culture, and it was all through the Hitmarker. So I really appreciate what Hitmarker has done and allowed me to kind of progress my experience here. And I would recommend you do as well if you want to work in gaming and esports. Essentially, sometimes having to do free work is necessary, right? Proving yourself, taking on side projects that you might not earn any money for, but are just passion projects. Maybe, you're a software developer and you want to develop code that helps maybe do something within a game or helps a platform run a little better, right? Those are things you can do. If you're into social media, maybe you can run a social media campaign. If you're into, graphic design, maybe making some, artistic overlays or things like that. These are all things that really help and kind of showcase your skills before you even get to that interview process. And this can help you really stand out before. I know a lot of graphic designers have their Behance profile up there. It's kind of like their own website and their portfolio essentially. So having this for any type of work that you do, regardless of if it's business, if it's marketing, if it's sales, if it's software development, there's tons of different projects you can do, and I think that can really set you apart in terms of job hunting. Additionally, if you want to network with people, I think it's really valuable to talk to people informationally, just say, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about your role. Hang them up on Twitter or LinkedIn. I would say LinkedIn's better for that, but just making sure you kind of know the people behind the screen that are going to be reading your resume, reading your cover letter, because a stellar resume and a stellar cover letter can get you really far, but if you have that connection with someone and they already know what you're skilled in, they can place you in a role that maybe doesn't even exist yet, right? So having that connection kind of through that back end is really important here. And I think with gaming especially, you really need to have that because it's a very tight-knit community. A lot of people who get into gaming stay in gaming. So I guess the lessons learned is just know as many people as you can, and be open to different types of roles, right? You never know that maybe your dream job is within software development, but maybe you try out events and you really like events. So I would say just network with people, know as many people as you can, and check Hitmarker daily. I have a full-time position and I still check Hitmarker every single day. It's just nice to see which companies are hiring the most, and Hitmarker on their Twitter page actually does a really good job of showing you which companies are hiring the most and for what types of roles. So follow them on Twitter as well if you want more tips there. Within PowerSpike, we're such a nimble company that I'm lucky to cover many hats. So I've been working anywhere from marketing to sales to partnerships. So that's a really fun thing for me. I think with me at PowerSpike, I really want to grow into more of like a marketing partnerships role specifically. And those are somewhat separate tracks, but I think, if I can find out which one I'm the best at, I'll kind of add value to my company there. As far as, maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, I hope to kind of help with strategy in terms of marketing and partnerships, right? Those are, to me, very similar things because they bring in many different teams, right? When you're on product marketing or any type of marketing for that matter, you're working with the design team, you're working with the engineering team, you're working with the sales team. And those are really things that I like to do. I like to cross-collaborate across multiple teams and then be externally facing at the end of the day, right? You're really facing those customers and the fans of whatever experience you're trying to bring. And then with partnerships, right? You're talking to a lot of brands externally, you're talking to a lot of stakeholders that might really be interested in collaborating with you, whether that be another company or maybe just like an influencer or something like that. So I really like talking to people, if you can't tell already through this interview. And so for me, just an external facing role that really can allow a brand to thrive and succeed. That's where I see myself in 5 to 10 years.